electronic, HFC, MCE, electrodynamics, EMS, EDS, diamagnetic repulsive orthosis boot.
Now, this is it here for the cockpit. I'm going to put the cooler as far as silicon, flour, and baking soda. And I'm probably going to use business too. This is for the shin shaft, linear solenoid motor shin shaft. It corresponds to transformer coils. It is a voltage transformer and calf and shin guard. Actually, calf and shin guard. This is the shin guard for the voltage transformer. And this is for the Mark 42. This is a calf front. And I have the calf, and I'm doing that too using silicon and the thermoelectric effect refrigeration, and in the phase wires for the linear motor. So the linear motor lighting up and down, as you see in there, and I have the transformer localized outside the exterior, and it's going to be another these subsystems as far as subsystem mechanical framework, biaxial ROM system, exterior as far as the armor, titanium. I'm going to be using for piezoelectric effect and pyroelectric effect. Functioning, operating as along with magnetics. That is used for antimatter when traveling in space, antimatter. And this will be used as far as anti-gravity. Linear motor. This is diamagnetic repulsive force. It behaves in a diamagnetic repulsive eddy currents. And I'm going to be using synchronous. So, okay, my name is Jermaine Morton. I used baking soda, flour, and salt. And I'm going to add the silicon on it. This is going to be used as a fireproofer and thermal resistance. I'm going to be using silicon along with it and mix it and then spray it with the adhesive and then use a resin over it. Hardener. This is to the brace. I have the coils along in it, the linear motor coils, and I'm going to cure it with it. I'm going to cure it with the epoxy resin as well. Okay, so I apply the baking soda, flour, and salt, and the silicon powder that I have right here. This is a thermoelectric effect silicon, and on the top of a mesh gate bearing a linear motor like the ocean, to where all the threads are localized under as far as the coil, inductor coil using AWG24 board, and it's in a cage, in a mesh cage. And right now I'm going to spray with the adhesive and then use the hardener, crystalline hardener as far as epoxy resin.
MANACLE self-suspension self-levitation engine subsystem materials are Agatein silicon copper wire diameter 0.0403, resistance per 1000 feet, ohms, 6.385 over 1000 volts, resistance per 5000 feet, ohms, 31.925 18 AWG 5000 feet divided by 3-inch wire turns equals 60,003 times 3-inch turns 5 kilowatts equals 5000 watts of eddy currents against the aluminum block exterior surfaces. Watts converted into horsepower, therefore electric potential energy of 746 watts may be equivalent to 1 horsepower. The diamagnetic boot emits 5 kilowatts of electrical potential energy related within British mechanical horsepowers are equivalent to 6,705 horsepowers. Here's intuitive intelligence. My weight 183 pounds. This may not include the body armor. Inertial weighs at 140 pounds. However, this must not be excluded. Let's include weight of gravity. Whatsoever may be connected to the diamagnetic electrical circuit. Equivalent scale weighs at 324 pounds. Problem solved by the weight of electrical solenoid circuit. Weight of turns. Audio wire turns may be spun tightly around the diamagnetic element given weight to equal weight of mass. Whensoever the phase wire received a signal to establish a charge current carrying electrical energy, winding eddy currents, repulsive forces against the diamagnetic horn bearing within the center or the coil, emissions, velocity, 6,382 pounds. Repulsive weighs more than the diamagnetic element. Weight forces the central repulsive element away from the electrical energy winding field of vectoring, velocities, displacing the diamagnetic element, weighs less than the electrical energy emitting against the weight of its gravity, or inertial mass. Potential energy speed in constant force per second, displacing diamagnetic repulsive element lifted up into the air against the human user's body. 183 pounds. Weight of gravitational weight, This may also include 140 pounds weight or inertial mass actuated by electrical energy emitting. Subject not limiting to additional structure potential metric range inventor Jermaine Morton design. Furthermore, the boot subsystem cylindrical hollow liquid chamber bearing permanent magnet operates rotationing self-cooling permanent magnet emitter motorized fluids speed of 40,000 rpm functional likenesses as an MCE subsystem piston motorized liquid pump type HFC rotary refrigerant fluids emissions paramagnetic cooler microwaves. The permanent magnet fluid chamber bearing copper audio wiring spun tightly into helix shape around the exterior of the HFC liquid refrigerant cooling chamber mounted alongside underneath the diamagnetic boot foot mount structure bearing. Electrical audio wiring modulated. Permanent magnetic thermoelectric effects refrigeration purpose for electrical wiring heat dissipation environment method. GD2SO43 middle.8H2O, thermal hysteresis 20 degrees Celsius 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Refrigerant liquid cooling tubing spun alongside the electrical exterior copper coil surfaces. The electrical helix shape spun copper coil exhibits hollow cage silicon tubing operates. HFC 134A, refrigerant cooling tubing connections to DC rotor motor pump liquid refrigerant's vapor temperature is between 40 degrees and 50 degrees Fahrenheit, and without changing its temperature, it absorbs heat as it changes state from a liquid to a vapor. Subject not limiting to additional structure potential metric range inventor Jermaine Morton design. Coil turns a spun helix shaped alongside or within aluminum block interface introduced to the same metric range virtually equal in area electrically induced phase wire point charge inductor coil, type transformer, electromotive, separate electric circuit. Transfers potential energy creates electrostatic paramagnetic particle density affects the aluminum block with a higher repulsive force of matter in a given space underneath aluminum block surfaces modulated electric circuit electromotive, EMS, damping vibrations axis stability eddy currents allowing stability alternating current magnetic fields given potential energy attractive current field vector proximity and opposing current field vector proximity. EDS, repulsive forces against diamagnetic weight of gravity simultaneously carrying the electromagnetic emissions source having a lower weight the electrodynamics potential energy repulsive forces both emission source and the diamagnetic element against its inertial weight of gravity lifted into the air as to levitate as to fly.